Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The Diagnostic Trouble Code, DTC P0496, pertains to an issue within the Evaporative Emission Control System, EVAP, of the Honda CRV models from 2011 to 2016. This specific DTC indicates that there is a high purge flow detected, meaning that the system is expelling fuel vapors at a higher rate than manufacturers deem acceptable. This could lead to increased emissions and poor vehicle performance. The components most often associated with this DTC include the EVAP canister purge valve, the EVAP canister vent shut valve, the fuel tank pressure (FTP) sensor, and the powertrain control module (PCM). These components are located throughout the vehicle. The EVAP canister is typically found near the fuel tank, while the FTP sensor and valves are situated along the fuel system and engine compartment. Correct diagnosis is critical to ensuring that emissions are controlled and vehicle performance remains optimal. The error description for DTC P0496 denotes a situation where the Evaporative Emission Control System, EVAP, is experiencing a high purge flow. The pivotal components involved are the EVAP canister purge valve, which allows fuel vapors to flow from the canister to the engine for combustion, the EVAP canister vent shut valve that manages airflow into the canister, and the FTP sensor that monitors the pressure within the fuel tank. These components ensure that fuel vapors are effectively contained and do not escape into the atmosphere, which is crucial for emissions control. In the Honda CRV, the EVAP canister is typically positioned near the rear of the vehicle, close to the fuel tank, while the valves and sensor are integrated into the fuel delivery system and engine compartment. Thus, understanding the layout and function of these components is essential for accurate troubleshooting. Several possible causes could lead to the triggering of DTC P0496. One of the most common culprits is a faulty EVAP purge valve. This valve may become stuck open, causing excessive purge flow and triggering the DTC. Additionally, if the EVAP canister vent shut valve is sticky or malfunctioning, it can inhibit the proper management of vapor flow, leading to a similar error. Poor electrical connections, whether loose terminals or frayed wiring at critical connectors like the FTP sensor or the valves, can also create intermittent failures, which can be misinterpreted as high purge flow by the powertrain control module, PCM. Identifying these potential issues is crucial for rectifying the error and restoring proper function to the EVAP system. Symptoms associated with DTC P0496 can vary, but commonly include increased emissions from the exhaust system, which may result in the vehicle failing an emissions test. Drivers might also experience decreased engine performance due to the fuel system's improper function caused by high purge flow. This could manifest as hesitations during acceleration or rough idling. Some owners may also notice inconsistencies in the fuel gauge readings attributed to malfunctioning pressure sensors affected by the high flow. Addressing the underlying issues reflected by this DTC is essential not only for performance, but also for compliance with environmental regulations. The first troubleshooting step involves turning the ignition switch to the on position, which powers the vehicle's electronic systems without starting the engine. Next, it's vital to clear the Diagnostic Trouble Code, DTC, using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS. The HDS is an advanced diagnostic tool that allows technicians to interact with the vehicle's various control modules. Following this, you should select the EVAP test option in the inspection menu and conduct the function test. This helps in verifying the current state of the EVAP system. If the test yields a positive result, it suggests intermittent failure, meaning the system appears functional at that moment. However, If you encounter additional DTCs while performing these tasks, you'll need to troubleshoot those codes before proceeding with the EVAP system. In the second troubleshooting step for DTC P0496, you begin by checking the EVAP canister purge valve for a potential sticking issue. First, select the option for EVAP Test again in the inspection menu on the HDS and perform the EVAP Purge Control Solenoid PCS off function in single solenoid mode. Subsequently, disconnect the vacuum hose from the purge valve, labeled as Part A in the system. This allows proper inspection of the valve. You will then connect a T-fitting, a vacuum gauge, and a vacuum pump to the valve for further analysis. By applying about 2 kilopascals, 0.6 inch hatch, or 15 millimeters of mercury of vacuum to the purge control solenoid valve, you can simulate operational conditions to see if the valve responds appropriately. In the third troubleshooting step, you activate the EVAP Purge Control Solenoid, PCS, to assess the functionality of the purge valve. After applying vacuum to the EVAP canister purge valve, the next action involves selecting the EVAP PCS on setting in single solenoid mode via the HDS. This step will allow you to check whether the vacuum is released immediately after activation. If the vacuum is released right away, this indicates a need to replace the EVAP canister vent shut valve, as it has failed to hold the vacuum, pointing to a malfunction. In contrast, if the vacuum does not release, this suggests that the EVAP canister purge valve itself is faulty and requires replacement. These checks are pivotal in isolating the issue leading to the DTC. Once reparative actions have been taken, it is crucial to verify the effectiveness of those repairs. Start by turning the ignition switch to the on position, which powers the vehicle's systems without starting the engine. The next step involves resetting the powertrain control module, PCM, using the HDS diagnostic tool. The PCM is the central computer that governs the engine's operations and requires resets to ensure the new settings are recognized. Following the reset, perform the PCM idle learn procedure, enabling the engine control unit to adapt to any new variables after the repairs. Finally, execute the EVAP test from the inspection menu again, conducting a function test to see if the system reports an OK result. Successful verification means that the issues causing the DTC have been resolved. To prevent DTC P0496 and maintain the efficacy of the EVAP system, regular preventive maintenance plays a crucial role. Begin with routine visual inspections of the EVAP components, checking for signs of physical wear or damage, such as cracks or unconnected hoses. It's equally important to ensure that electrical connections are snug and free from corrosion, as poor connections can lead to intermittent failures and error codes. Timely replacement of aging sensors and valves will help in maintaining a properly functioning EVAP system. Keeping the system clean from debris and verifying that all components are working harmoniously will help in preventing further issues down the line. Regularly monitoring emissions levels can also serve as an early warning system for potential EVAP failures. In conclusion, understanding DTC P0496, which indicates high purge flow in the EVAP system, is vital for vehicle owners and technicians alike. Following a systematic troubleshooting process helps diagnose and address the various components involved effectively, ensuring minimal downtime and optimal vehicle performance. Frequent maintenance checks will help in catching potential issues before they escalate into more serious problems. By closely monitoring the associated symptoms and promptly reacting to changes, you can maintain compliance with emission standards and drive a vehicle that runs smoothly. Remember that the aim is to ensure not only effective vehicle operation, but also to contribute to environmental protection efforts by managing emissions responsibly. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.